Today, once again, we're back reading some more neckbeard stories. The episode we did the other day was so fun that I knew we had to get back on here super soon. So yeah, today's the day and I hope you're ready, guys. Thank you again for all your ongoing support. It means so much to me. As always, I hope you're having an absolutely beautiful day today, and I hope this makes it even better. Enjoy, guys. The first story of the day is called Clingy Neckbeard. This happened 15-ish years ago. I'm not sure if he's really a neckbeard or if maybe he was just really clingy, but I thought it'd fit here anyway. I, 30 female, 15 at the time, met this guy Neckbeard, NB for short, online. I don't know if it was on Facebook or on Gaia Online, but it was one of the two. I was a lonely, quiet, reserved kid, so online friendships were my only source of friendship. We talked on and off for a few years, always planning on meeting, but we never did. He only lived a couple of hours from me, but I was a teenager. Then I met my boyfriend at the time, husband now, we'll call him A, and stopped talking to NB until the year in between high school and college. I worked at a call center and I made friends with this girl S, who it turned out was dating Neckbeard. Small world. Neckbeard convinced S to drive me the couple of hours to meet him and hang out with the both of them. I didn't feel like this was a big deal at the time. I was 18-ish, but A didn't want me to go alone, so he hopped in the car with us. When we got to Neckbeard's, definitely confirmed Neckbeard in looks at this point, fedora and chains included. I immediately felt oddly uncomfortable. He introduced me to his parents, his pets, etc. But he was ignoring A and S the entire time, and he kept trying to get me alone. He finally managed after A went down to the car to get something and I was on the receiving end of the longest, most uncomfortable hug I've ever experienced in my life. Neckbeard was also going on about how much he missed me. We didn't stay long because S and I had to work the next day and we left. A year or so later, I started college a few months after getting married. Neckbeard emailed me and my email signature had my married last name plus the college course I was taking. He immediately began questioning me on what my signature meant. Me being kinda oblivious, just replied that for school related emails, they wanted the signature to say what course we were taking, but he replied back that he meant my last name. I was excited to tell him that I'd gotten married and that I was so happy. Neckbeard had been my friend at one point and we talked a lot, so I wanted to tell him the good news. After a couple more emails where he told me that him and S broke up, I didn't hear anything. A couple of years after that, I got an email from NB asking how everything was going and was I still with A. I told him great, and yeah, I was still with A, and I heard nothing back. At this point, I thought it was kind of weird and I mentioned it to A and he said that Neckbeard was checking in to see if I was single yet. I thought A was just seeing it in the wrong light, but whatever. After that one conversation, we didn't mention Neckbeard again. Cue to a few years after that when I randomly get an email from Neckbeard asking me if I was still with A again. I told him yes and I asked him how he was doing. He told me that he split up with someone, so he was kind of depressed. I told him that he would be fine and there was someone out there for everyone. Platitudes, of course, though I do really believe that. And then he goes on about how he let his soulmate slip through his fingers and the girl for him was already with someone else. Well, then I kind of believed A. I get A to come read the email thread and he told me to tell Neckbeard to stop messaging me. I don't like confrontation, so I didn't want to. A messaged Neckbeard on Facebook and told him to stop messaging me, that we're happy and we're not going to separate so he could stop his check-in emails. Neckbeard denied it, of course, but I haven't heard from him since, so it worked. Maybe A was just reading it wrong and that wasn't Neckbeard's intention, but it was still weird. No, that was 100% their intention. I just realized how long this was, but 15 years is a long time to cuff a lull. Thank you for reading that. Edit to add since I didn't mention it, Neckbeard was a couple of years older than me. Yeah, nah, like the top comment says, your boyfriend read it correctly. Why else would the first thing he says be, are you still with him? Yeah, 100%, but hopefully they get the message and they don't keep emailing. And also, that's so bloody rude. I hate when people do this. People contacting somebody else that's happily in a relationship and they know that they are, and they're trying to see if they're single or if they're interested in doing something. Like the bloody audacity. Respect their relationship and their partner as well and leave them alone. And also, yeah, from the beginning, like they said, they were making them super uncomfortable. Like maybe you're not soulmates, okay? The next one is called I Used to Be a Neckbeard. Hello, hi, I've never really made a post on Reddit before, so I'm new. If you don't like my way of spelling, I'm very sorry if it bothers you, but I failed English in school. Anyway, let's get into it. I used to be a neckbeard, or I still am. I don't really know if I got out of it, but I do know that I've cleaned up my act a bit. I used to never shower, never brush my teeth, never clean my dishes or do laundry. I'd have greasy hair, bad breath, and wear the same clothes for weeks on end. The reason behind I did those things was I thought of myself as a disgusting goblin, and that didn't deserve to shower, and it was a waste of water, and that no one would ever love me, so why even bother? And I'd pile my clothes in a cardboard box, never fold hoarding them or putting them away. I also had an obsession with anime, manga, and hentai, and I would tell everyone I met about it, and would freak out if anyone called them cartoons. I now know to not give a crap if someone says that, but on a plus note, I never really interacted with women or tried to be a pervert to them. Like I said, I thought of myself as a goblin or monster thing. I have come out as an asexual, but I did have a relationship with a girl, but I'm sorry to say I didn't get any feelings out of it. I've kissed her and got no feelings from it. I've also kissed men at a friend's party, nothing from that either. Like I said, I've cleaned up my act a bit since my mother's divorce and meeting my new stepdad. He's been teaching me to better myself. I clean my dishes, I take showers, and I brush my teeth. I do my own laundry and I fold it and I put it away. I also take out the trash when needed. I still watch anime, read manga and hentai, but I'm not so obsessed with it. I still live with my mum, but I can't help that. Doctors said that when I was a kid, my mum would have to watch over me for a whole life because of my mental problems. I'm diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and I don't learn things as fast as others. Just recently, I learned how to tie my shoes. My stepdad taught me. Maybe someday I'll be able to live on my own, but I don't see that happening for some time. That's all I can think of at the moment. If you have any questions, I can answer them. I'm not one to disagree if you call me a neckbeard. I probably deserve that for how I am. I'll try posting this to neckbeards, but I don't know if I should. Wow, good on you, seriously. It's so good to read stuff like this. Like just realizing that you can be a better person and you don't have to be like this. And not just that, but actually putting the steps in place to make sure that that happens. That wouldn't have been easy, and good on you for doing that. I didn't really expect to read something wholesome on here. Hell yeah though, keep up the good work. The next one is called Neckbeard Ogles Me in Front of My Dad. Implies that he's a super villain. Fair warning, long post, so scroll to the end for a TLDR. So this happened years ago at the start of 2018. I was around 20 at the time. I'm also a lady. My dad, who I love, is a bit socially awkward. He's not shy, he just won't talk to people. He's also an artist and he used to do caricature shows at a local college, free for the students. This went down at one such show. Now, normally my mum would have gone with him. She talks to the people that come by to get drawn, so number one, my dad doesn't have to, and two, the person doesn't get bored before their portrait's done. She was busy the day of that show and sent me along instead. That was totally fine. I got to talk to some really cool people my age, and I love hanging out with my dad. Win-win. The day was going fine, lots of foot traffic, and people were curious, and just about everybody that came by was impressed by my dad's art. Sometimes people would sit down with friends, so all I'd have to do would be brief introductions, and maybe needle out a tiny detail about themselves that they'd like incorporated into the portrait. I'm a bit socially awkward myself, but even I had a pretty easy time with the conversations. Everything was going smooth. Cut to my new best friend with the 70 square wireframes. Yeah, that's right, think Dharma. That had been lurking in the cafeteria where we were stationed. I had made him for a neckbeard just as soon as I saw him, but I didn't think much of it. It wasn't much his appearance or the glasses, it was more about the way that he carried himself, and the fact that he was orbiting my dad's booth for over an hour and didn't seem to talk to anybody else that passed through. I pointed him out to my dad because the guy would stare at us at times, and my dad told me that he'd been at the college for several years and came to my dad's art booth every time that it was there. According to my dad, 70s frames there would always sit down to get drawn and chatter about graduating the next year, but so far hadn't. Okay, nothing wrong with that. Not everybody knows what they want to do. Well, after a while longer, this man approaches the booth and sits himself down. The smell, the absolute offensive smell of this person. Now, I took classes at this school myself when I was in high school. I sat in classes with multiple neckbeard types that came in an array of nose hair curdling perfumes. I guess I forgot just how dead set against bathing some of them are. As per my work order, I struck up a conversation with him because it was either that or sit in stony silence while my dad did his damnedest to avoid any eye contact with the guy. After introductions, I said, "What do you do for fun?" I was trying to give my dad a prop to draw to get this guy out of my nasal passages ASAP. 70s frame shrugged and said, "Read, but also watch TV." "What do you like to read?" "Non-fiction." It was at this point I realized that behind those square, skinny-ass frames, this guy's eyes were staring to my cleavage. When I spoke, he briefly made eye contact and then it was right back to ogling my chest. Like he didn't even realize he was doing it. I wasn't even wearing something low cut. There wasn't even much to see. My dad, God bless him, either didn't notice or didn't want to deck this guy on college property. I adjusted my collar as subtly as I could and soldiered on. "Well, what kind of TV do you like?" I was in all honesty prepared for a typical neckbeard answer like anime or My Little Pony, both of which I could handle hearing about for the next 3 minutes, but he lit up like a 4th of July fireworks display and sat up so he was no longer slouching. I actually found myself leaning back in the seat. "I love true crime," he said, the same kind of fervor with which you would say, "I'm adopting a dog." I said, "Oh," because he was no longer entranced by my skin, but staring intently at me and gearing up for some sort of sermon. He said, "I just like the idea of getting inside the heads of people who commit acts like that. Like what drives them to that point? It's really fascinating to me." I would have agreed even though I don't like true crime, and he was giving me the willies. My dad was not yet done with his drawing. My dad was a man possessed obsessed, enveloped in his own artistic little world, leaving me to fend for myself. I settled on telling this guy. I can see how that'd be fascinating. For me, I just like Marvel. But Mr. Wandering Eye cut me off saying, I never understood the public's obsession with the goody-goody hero types. The Superman craze, I never got it. An understandable viewpoint, one I didn't share but I respected. I said, I think it comes from people wanting to have something to look up to. And he cut me off again with this absolute gem of a line. Well, for people who don't fit that archetype, for people who live on the fringes of society, it's very polarizing. A chill went up my spine like I've not felt before nor since. My only thought was this guy has bodies in his basement, that or a nuclear reactor in his shower, which would explain the not bathing. I was speechless and terrified. I can't even explain why that out of his behavior and his disrespectful staring and his ongoing moratorium on bathing was what pushed me over the edge into wanting to be as far away from this guy as possible. Maybe it was the way he said it. Maybe it was the way he made me uneasy from the jump. It's an admittedly edgelord, too cool for you thing to say, but he had already given me reason not to want to walk to the girls' bathroom across the hall without an escort, and that line just hammered that vibe home. My dad finally finished the drawing and handed it to him. This guy snatched it from his hands, nodded in approval to my dad, and without so much as a backwards glance, walked away. I later told my dad about the staring and what he said, and my stony silent father got a little red in the face, but all he said was, at least you won't have to see him again. And I didn't. I didn't see him for the rest of the day, and I haven't been back to that school since. The conversation still haunts me though. I have a few other neckbeard stories to share, but that one sticks out the most. Wow, that's so interesting, and you can definitely pick up a vibe on people, and so you just knew from the very beginning that something was off. Yeah, no, don't like that. That's super unsettling, and it doesn't immediately mean they're some evil sort of diabolical person, but it doesn't matter because it's enough to make people uncomfortable. The next one is called Not Every Neckbeard is a Nasty Neanderthal. Every time I begin another doom scroll of this cringe-alicious subreddit, I'm reminded of my interactions with my old upstairs neighbor. I lived in a shoebox basement apartment of a house that was split into 2 living spaces, with me alone in the downstairs and 2 guys upstairs. One of the guys on first look was a typical neckbeard type, trench coat, fedora, a love for all things geek, and of course the quintessential neckbeard. However, this is where he diverges from the usual tropes. This man was one of the kindest and most soft-spoken people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting. He had immaculate hygiene even down to his iron clothes and polished dress shoes, and was incredibly respectful of boundaries, especially around me and my other femme-presenting friends. He was also an extremely talented DM. He was the reason I was introduced to the world of tabletop RPGs. He once put together an incredible horror campaign, complete with a soundtrack and custom cocktails. This man was a treasure, and I'm better having known him. Edit, I feel like I should have clarified that he was a self-appointed neckbeard. He referred to himself as such all the time. Yeah, that's 100% right. You can be a good neckbeard. You don't have to be a neckbeard that's super awful and creepy. Like, yeah, you can be a neckbeard and be a bloody awesome person, which obviously this person was. Yeah, wow, that's so wholesome. Like, they're a bit geeky and neckbeardy, but they don't care because they love it, and they're also a good person. The next one is called I Don't Think My Friend Is Capable of Taking Care of Himself. I'm 21 and he's 20, and we've been friends since 2nd grade. We shared similar interests like playing music, and as we got older, smoking weed and playing music. We started bands together with other friends, but I've realized he's just not motivated enough to actually make anything. He and his brother still have good weed conversations, so we still get together and hang from time to time. Let's give them fake names. Ben and his brother Joe. More recently, I've noticed tension rising with them and their parents. They both have got their GEDs years ago and graduated early. I know both of them have taken some online college classes, but I'm pretty sure at this moment they aren't. Ben has been holding down his first job for almost a year now, and he works about 20 hours a week. Joe worked at the same place for 1 day and then worked at Taco Bell and quit on his first day. Their parents want him to move out, and I think they're having trouble financially supporting them. They've moved a few times in the last 5 years, and most recently they now live in a 3-bedroom small apartment. They have a younger sister who's in high school, so now Ben lives on their couch. This was supposed to be a temporary thing because Ben told me that he'd be forced to move out within a month. That was about a year ago. I think the parents just threatened that but wouldn't actually force their kids to be homeless if that's what it came to. Their house is very messy, but I've noticed their mum just tries to clean as she goes. Their kids just leave dishes and garbage in the living room. I'm 21 years old and I didn't go to college because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't think I'd like it either, but I figured I wouldn't be a piece of crap and live at my parents and play video games and smoke weed all day. I've worked different full-time jobs since I was 18 and moved out when I was 19. This morning I was doing my regular things like doing the dishes and sweeping and laundry, etc. And I just think that my childhood friend has zero motivation or capability to live the life that I do. And it's not like I'm some Sigma grinder. He plays the anxiety, ADHD and depression card, and I've been clinically diagnosed with depression. I understand how valuable valid mental health can be sometimes, but it just seems like he doesn't want to do anything about it, but let it be an excuse for his laziness. Sorry for such a long post, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. Maybe someone can give me some advice for what I can do to help him. Edit, I'd just like to add a few things I left out. He also matches a lot of neckbeard qualifications. Overweight, never shaved, super into anime and video games, bad with hygiene. Maybe he's not a full-on neckbeard yet, but he's headed down that path. I've also mostly quit weed and I don't smoke around him or his brother. Yeah, that situation sucks, but there's not really that much you can do. It's something that only you can do for yourself, I feel like. You could tell them what to do, but it doesn't mean they're gonna do it. And it's hard also because you want to help, but it also might not be your place to help with this. And like these comments say, love your life and let him live his. You ain't his daddy. And they respond, thanks, yeah, I've accepted that and been pretty much doing this already. I just wanted to share my neckbeard story. I just asked for advice at the end in case someone had something. But yeah, at the end of the day, if they don't want to help themselves, there's not really that much you can do besides being like encouraging and stuff. The next one is called I work with an Asian obsessed leg beard. So I work at a barbershop cutting hair with a cast of interesting and often dramatic people. I will admit, like many people, I enjoy Asian media and even own many pieces of art from the media I consume. So meeting a fellow lover of anime is often a treat when they are a well-rounded individual with other passions outside of Asian culture. My co-worker, however, lacks being this individual. She recently had broken up with her boyfriend of I don't know how long and decided to enter back into the dating pool, informing me that she wants to date specifically East Asian men as they're the only men that she finds physically attractive. This woman, however, is the opposite of what I know most Asian men find attractive. She's short and about 350 pounds and thin hair and has what is known as a moon face. Google it. She's been on several dates since her breakup and I always know when her date was a chubby chaser. Stupid men and their fetishes. I'm not a horizontal mumbo object to be tossed aside, was one of the many ways that she voiced her disdain for men who use her only for their preferences. You see now where my breakdown is with her. She's even tried to move where there's a higher population of East Asian men so she could expand her dating pool. I personally live in this area and I take full advantage of the local food markets and restaurants and cultural events, and I've heard these men talk about the rise of popular Asian culture and how it affects their life. Prime example, my sibling and I went to the local East Asian market and cafe and got an order of dumplings to split before shopping. As we were hungry and didn't want to just get snacks and forget the groceries we were there to actually buy, they have cheap produce, and with inflation being what it is, getting anything cheaper for less of a dive is worth it. A group of young men came in and they were about 22 to 26, and one of the young men was talking about the date that he'd just been on. This caught my eye as I'm naturally a gossip, and hearing someone else's stories about things not going on in my life are my favorite form of entertainment. He was discriminated, how it all seemed to be going well at first, and she seemed like a nice person, and then came to the date, she proceeded to compare him to her favorite BTS member, and it creeped this poor guy out. My mind immediately went to the co-worker and my heart broke for the guy. With that story in mind, it's gotten to the point every time this woman laments about the fact that she doesn't have an Asian boyfriend, or she can't seem to catch one, or they seem to just ignore her outright, I honestly don't care. I didn't before, and I don't even more now after overhearing that man's tale. She's moving back to her hometown and I'm not happy, just indifferent. This woman is absolutely miserable and has convinced everyone around her, but me for some reason, that she's a genuinely good person, and she's not. She's shallow with an East Asian fetish. Yeah, oh my god, we say stuff like this all the time. It's so bad and rude and cringy as well. And yeah, I feel like it's about time we read something wholesome, guys. That's enough terrifying neck beards and leg beards for today. I'm obsessed with animals that don't immediately understand something and they just tilt their head about it. Does it make any more sense at a 45-degree angle, bud? And then somebody posts a picture of a fox. Yeah, it's so cute, isn't it? Jin does this all the time and it's so goofy and funny. Like, what are you doing, bro? Are you a little bit confused? I don't understand something, so I better turn my head. So what do you plan on doing when you retire? Me. Man devotes his life to adopting old dogs who can't find forever homes. Wow, that's so cute. And look how little they are. They're so teeny tiny and cute. Hell yeah, dude, keep up the good work. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to inform you I am 1 year sober. Oh, hell yeah, congratulations. That's a huge accomplishment and that wouldn't have been easy, so good on you for doing this. It'd be so rewarding as well. Onto a better, happier and healthier life. Baby Clifford and baby Snoopy, that is all. Oh my god, they're so cute. I've never seen them as babies before. Thank you for posting this. I didn't realize I needed to see this, but I definitely did. And once again, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more Neckbeard episodes, make sure you like and subscribe. And the comment of the day today goes to Sylvia P4478. I'm knitting a sweater for my mum for Christmas and I didn't realize how long it takes to finish. Listening to your compilations while knitting is so relaxing and I get done so much because I don't have to tap on my screen every few minutes. Thank you for these these long episodes. They're really helping me out. Oh, I'm so glad. And thank you for watching them. I really appreciate the support. There's something about a super long episode or like a compilation or something that is so nice. Like, it's sort of comforting knowing that you've got something to watch that isn't going to end super soon. I know what you mean, and that's so awesome. And yeah, I hope the Christmas sweater comes out awesome. I'm sure it will. And yeah, guys, thank you all for all your support. It means so much to me. Once again, we're going on another adventure tomorrow, and I hope you're ready for it. And I hope to see you then. As always, make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!